Join me today on how we bring a script to life. This is how we create an action scene. Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Garrett Hammond. I'm a Hollywood stuntman and stunt coordinator. I want to welcome all you OCSA students in stage combat classes. Today I'm going to take you through how we take a concept and execute a Hollywood stunt scene. Now, I want to thank Mr. Jay Wallace for inviting me to do this for you guys. It's my pleasure. So, today I'm going to take you through how we take a script, the process of breaking down a script, breaking down an action scene, all the way to filming the scene on the day. Before we get started, I'm going to show you a little bit about what I do. You may have seen me in some of these movies like Jumanji, Passengers, Logan, TV shows like Stranger Things, and more recently a show that I've been fight coordinator and stunt coordinator on is Magnum PI. So why don't you guys take a look.
You guys like to dance?
Now that you guys have gotten to see some of the projects I've been a part of, I'm going to show you how we make one of these action scenes, starting all the way from the concept. That's the script. So the first thing we do, we read our script, we find all the action scenes and we break them down. Now, in breaking down a script, we've got to look at what the intention is, what the story is, what the characters are. The next thing is we go to a concept meeting. In that concept meeting, we listen to our director, we listen to the producers, what they want to pay for this scene. Everything to the type of character they're going to cast, the actor. Are we going to have to double this actor? Is it going to be a stunt performer that's actually going to be acting in the scene? The next thing we do is we have a stunt meeting. Now that stunt meeting doesn't involve hair and makeup, locations. Usually it involves our director, our executive producer, and the stunt coordinator and fight coordinator. During this meeting, we talk about what they want to see, how big the scene's going to be. It could be anything from, a small fall to a big fight scene, wire work, fire burns, car scenes, and what they want to see. Do they want to go big? Do they want to go practical? Practical meaning, are we really going to do these stunts, or are they going to do what some productions do today and use CGI? So once we've gone through our stunt meeting and we've gotten an idea of what our director and producers are looking for, the next thing is we're going to break down our action scenes and make a budget, because it all comes down to money, right? So we propose a budget, we propose what we're thinking about how we're going to accomplish our action scene, and we see if we get approved or not. And that could mean we're getting more money and we get to go bigger, or they're going to give us a little less and we've got to figure out how to do it on a smaller budget. That's our job as a coordinator, is to deliver a package no matter how big or how small our show wants. Now the next thing is we're going to go on location scouts. Once they've figured out what they're looking for in the scene and our director's figured out what he wants for looks, we go on that location scout. Now for us, especially in a fight scene like I'm going to take you through today, that's key, because I got to see what the geography of, say, a small house is, an apartment, a big warehouse. Are we up on a roof? And if we're up on a roof, do I need to safety my actors? Do I need a safety cameraman? It all comes together to figure out what the choreography is going to be. And then after that, we all have another big production meeting. During that production meeting, we talk to props. Are there going to be knives? Are there going to be guns? Special effects. Does this scene entail things like explosions? Do we need breakaways? Things for our performers to break through, crash through, smash on top of heads, or anything like that. Then we have to talk to hair and makeup. Our actor's going to be bruised or bloodied at the end of a scene. And also we'll talk to wardrobe. Our actor's going to get wet. Is there going to be blood on their shirts? Do we need extra shirts? Do we plan on ripping things? Should our performers be in long sleeves and pants because we're going to take them through glass? These are all things we have to discuss because we have to make sure that we're all on the same page. A production is huge. Even on a TV show like Magnum PI, on any given day we have anywhere from 100 to 170 people on set on a day, all working together to accomplish one scene. Now, once we've finished this final production meeting, it's time to get to work. It's time to choreograph. It's time to put our action scene together. At this point, we know all of the puzzle pieces to make this action scene. We know the actors they've cast, do we need stunt doubles, what skill sets they need, and what they're looking for in this scene. So in the scene that I'm going to show you today, it involves two actors, Gordon Katsumoto, also known as Tim Kang, and a guest star. Now both of these actors we're going to have to double because we're going to be smashing them through breakaways and a pretty intense fight. So the next step for us is, once we finish this production meeting, we've talked about what the style they're looking for. In this case, we reference things like Lethal Weapon. Might be too old for you guys. I'm not talking about the TV show, I'm talking about Mel Gibson and Danny Glover's Lethal Weapon. They want more of a brutal sense of a fight. Meaning, Gordon Katsumoto, even though he is a detective and should know how to fight, so they want him to be a little bit more brutal, have a little underlying style of a fight, but not too crisp. And then our bad guy, he works in a correctional facility, so he should be able to hold his own, but he's not the best fighter. Now, that's not always the case. So that's part of figuring out what the style of an action scene that they're looking for. It could be anywhere from a fight like this, like we're talking about Lethal Weapon, or you could talk about things like Avengers, where you're looking for more of superhero action. These are all going to change the way your fighters are going to fight in the scene, right? So, obviously, something like this is going to be a lot different than our show on Magnum PI. We're looking for more realistic, just outside of that realm of a dirty street fight. So the next step is to find those performers, those stunt doubles, that can accomplish this scene. In this scene, I was lucky to enlist Don Tai. He's an 8711 action director, stunt performer, amazing guy. Now to double our bad guy, I had Solomon Brende, another amazing stuntman, and I'll show you a couple things that he's done. After seeing a little bit about what these guys can do, I think you can see that it's essential to have a really solid team. Now these teams come anywhere from world-renowned martial artists, gymnasts, to high divers, professional motocross riders, car drivers, anything you can think of. Most of them being professional athletes. And that's a lot about what we do. So you'll see that most stunt performers are professional athletes in some form or another. And we've adapted our skill sets to accomplish action scenes. So me as a stunt coordinator, I'm constantly doing research on different styles of fighting, different ways of filming these fights, so that I can adapt to whatever director that I'm working with. So the next thing, once we've figured out this team, we have to figure out what the choreo is going to be. Now, some people like to make an action scene just to make an action scene, you know, fights just to fight, and cool flashy moves and things like that. My goal as a fight coordinator and a stunt coordinator is to follow the story and give you the intention of what the director's looking for. You've heard people like Ron Howard talk about how they are the keeper of the story. So in a sense, as a stunt coordinator and a fight coordinator, I become the keeper of this small story and make sure that it fits into my director's story. So me as a stunt coordinator and a fight coordinator, I need to make sure that I help tell that story so that my director has a final product that all meshes and is cohesive. Now that's essential, because not only am I the head of department in the stunt team, but I'm also a part of a bigger team, and that's the whole production. So once I've figured out what the style of this fight is going to be, it's time to start choreographing this scene. That's bringing my performers in, and what the next step that we do is we walk through the scene. We walk through the space, which we went on the location scout, and we see where we want to start our scene and where we want to end our scene. That's, to me, is the easiest way to choreograph a fight scene. Know your beginning, know your end. Because once you have that, then you fill in the space in between. So once I've figured out where my beginning of the scene is and where the end of the scene is, I'm now going to start to walk through the scene with my performers. Everything from lines in the script to make sure that we give space for those, or things that the directors have asked for, like I want to smash his head on a counter, I want him to go through a bookshelf, I want him to go through a kitchen table, things like that. So as we walk through this scene and we go through and we figure out where the best places are to put these things. Maybe the table doesn't work good at the end of the scene, because if I throw him through a table, hits the ground, kind of stops the fight a little bit. So that's where we figure out and we work as a team to kind of figure out the best direction to take this fight. Now once we've done that, I start to use my performers and use their skill sets, and we work together as a team to choreograph a fight. The next step for us is to actually film what we call a previs. Now this previs is a lot of things in one. First of all, it's a sales pitch. We film a previs to show them what the fight could look like. Show them the choreo, show them what it's going to take to accomplish the scene, what kind of cameras they're going to need, and things like that. Now once we've done that, we'll go in and film this scene the way that we think our director will want it. And he'll either approve it or not. Now the other thing that this works good for is it's a blueprint. If our director approves the previs, we can now show our camera operators, our DP, the director, and they can all look at that and see, okay, yeah, I like this, I don't like that as much, maybe we change this angle here, or oh, that's great, why don't we add another camera over here? So again, this is all part of working together as a team. Now, in filming that previs, we're also going to figure out things like where are our stunts going to go, where are our big gags going to go, where these breakaways need to be, which then we're going to have to tell our art department and construction, hey, I need something here, it needs to be this big, can't be this big because my performer won't be able to get through it or go through it to over here. So the next step, once we film this previs and it's gotten approved, is I break it down into a shot list. That way I can help keep the director honest and our DP honest and make sure we get all the angles that they were looking for and have the right edit at the end of the day. So now what I'm going to show you is our previs. What we've taken from our choreography and what we're going to show our director and hope that he approves it. And hope you enjoy it.
Slowly put down the gun. Let's go for a little drive. Okay with you?
Now once we have all that, the next step for me is to make sure that we have everything that we need for the day. Do we have the right pads? Do we have pads for our actors? Are the breakaways made? Are they too big? Are they going to work? Are actors actually going to be able to go through them, or is our doubles going to need to go through them? Now most of the times, in that case, it is our doubles. And that brings me to the next point is, when I design a scene, design a fight scene for a show, my goal is not to just put my stunt doubles in a scene. My goal is to actually use my stunt doubles to show my actors and teach them the fight scene and hope that they can accomplish most of it on their own. That way, when you're seeing a scene, you're watching the actors, the one that you've come to know and see them actually go through this. I think once you use your actors in a fight scene, it actually gives you a better connection to the show. That way you're not just looking at the back of the head because I can't show you the face of my stunt double, right? But there are instances like breakaways, big wrecks and things like that I know I'm going to put my stunt doubles in. And that's another key point of having that shot list and knowing those angles of cameras to know how I can take my actor and make you believe that he's the one who went through the breakaway table or he's the one that went through the breakaway door, things like that. Now once I've had that all figured out, again, I've got to figure out these pads. Where do I need those? Are these breakaways going to work? What else do I need on the day? Do I need rigging? Rigging meaning, do I need wires to pull guys? Do I need anything of that sort? So once we have all that together, it's time to get everyone ready. Make sure that our actors have been rehearsed and they know the fight scene. Our cameramen know what we're filming. Our director has approved everything. And we have everything set. Once everything's set on the day, we're going to go through a final walkthrough. We're going to make sure everything's set in the right position, because not always do we start with a fight scene and not always do we start from the beginning. So if we're going to start midway through the fight, I need to know what it looks like at the beginning and what it's going to look like at the end. That way, at any point do we jump back and forth, we make sure to set things in the same spot so that you don't notice in the show like, oh, that wasn't broken there, or oh, that wasn't sitting over here at that point in the fight. Because those are things that we don't want you to take you out of the action scene, right? So that's part of my job as well. Okay, so now that we've gotten everything accomplished, all our prep's done, our previs been approved, we know what weapons we need. Do we need hard weapons or soft weapons? All of our pads are together, our actors are rehearsed. It's time to film an action scene. Now, as a stunt coordinator and fight coordinator, on the day that we film this action scene, my job is to make sure that we keep our actors and stunt performers safe. We also make sure that we get all the coverage we need. The punches selling, making sure that we're keeping our director honest, like in big gags. How many breakaway tables do we have? If we only have 2, well, we need to make sure those angles are right. How many cameras should we set down? Because once we go through those 2, we can't make another one on the day. We don't have enough time. So that's my job, is to help take our director and our crew through the process that we went through from our previs and accomplish a full action scene. Now once I take them through all that, we're going to get our final product.
hell are you doing in my house?
Waiting for you.
No kidding. Why?
We know about the $3 million you stole.
Let's go for a ride. Huh? You can tell me how you know about that on the way. Move.
Cody,
You're right.
I'll survive. Hands behind your back. Come on. Let's go.
So now that you've seen the final edit of the scene and you've seen my previews, you can see that not everything made the cut. It's okay. That's kind of my job, is I give them as much as I can and make sure they have enough to create the scene. Sometimes things get cut because the show goes too long, and most of the times we're not going to cut dialogue that's necessary, so they'll cut back to fight. And that's okay. I'd rather give them more and make sure they have everything they can use and bring it back from there. And that happens. Actually, that happens quite a bit, and you'll see it in some of these clips. So what you're about to watch is a scene from the movie Logan with Hugh Jackman. It was a practical stunt of 4 stuntmen being hit by a limousine, including myself on the far left. Then turned into what was going to be a visual effects pass at being hit by a limousine. And here's the final edit, where they did not use stuntmen being hit by the limousine at all. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed going from concept to execution of an action scene. Look forward to speaking with you all on our Zoom meeting coming up soon, so stay safe and stay healthy.